Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you're catching this video, I want to welcome you to the Soul Therapy Life. I'm Michele, and I count it an extreme honor that you are even tuning in. I have so much that I want to share with you, and I hope that I can fit it into this hour and a half video, giving you an overview of what soul therapy is, a little bit about how I work, and what I want to offer you as we dive into the healing, awakening, deconditioning, growing, transformation, changing, finding our joy, connecting to our soul. Just all of the things is what I'm here to share with you. Now, one of the things that I said, and if you came here from the video that I posted or different things that I've posted from social media, again, welcome. One of the things that I said was that I want to give you actual resources and strategies that you can apply immediately to your life. And not only can you apply it, but you will begin to see the needle move in a way that you can actually feel. So I want to offer you something right now. Before we even get into the material that I want to share with you today, I want to offer you that you start to create space. Create space. And I want you to do that with this. So I already said we're going to be together for 60 to 90 minutes. Can you block out that time? Can you find a way to block out that time or somehow make it more intentional, more meaningful? That's how we create space. Look, we're in a world that just is full of distractions, that just is so loud in our face, trying to get our attention, that the very thing that we need, which is ourself, we can't even get to it because we're just tossed to and fro by all things. So I want to offer you the tool, do I want to say tool, strategy, healing? It's all of those things, but create space for the things that matter to you. So even if that means that you have to pause this video, even if it means that you have to come back and you have to create some space for it, go ahead and do that, because I want you to hear me. I want you to feel me, and I want you to sense me. Now, everybody's not, and that's okay. If I'm not for you, then I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those who know that I'm talking to them, okay? So what are some other ways that you can create the space? Set aside time. You want to set the atmosphere, okay? I'm an incense chick. I have incense going over here. The sense of smell is it's spiritual. You know, if you like that, light a candle, get your favorite candle. You know, maybe dim the lights if you like it a little dark. I love ambient lighting myself. Or if you like it bright, make it bright. Get comfortable. Get your favorite pillow. I don't want to say stuffed animals. If you have one, yeah, I do want to say stuffed animals. Blanket, that's the word I'm looking for. Get your cozy blanket. Wrap yourself in it. Get comfortable, because I'm creating this space very intentionally for you. And I just really want to make sure that you get out of it. Get you a notebook. For this session, I don't have a workbook. I do that in my other sessions that I'm going to tell you more about. And get cozy and let's settle in. All right. I have my computer and I have handwritten notes. I still write. Aging myself here, but it's okay. All right. So the soul therapy life. So what is soul therapy? Soul therapy is doing the inner work of healing, awakening, and deconditioning from the life experiences that have left traumatic imprints in our body. And I'm going to tell you more about that. Soul therapy is a self-led journey. It's about finding the paths that work for you. It's about finding and collecting your own puzzle pieces to complete the personal mosaic of your best life. Okay, so that's a very broad term about what soul therapy is. And the key points I want you to walk away is that it's a self-led journey. Okay, it's self-led. Well, technically, God, source, universe led you to come here. You're seeking for something. You're looking for something. And for a lot of you that are watching this is going to be your answer. For some of you, it's not. You may not be ready, or it just may not resonate with you. And guess what? That's okay. So it's self-led. And it is the actual work of doing the inner work. So we know we got a problem by now, right? We know that there's an issue because social media tells us so. Everything in the world tells us so. I'm hearing so much more about the healing process and awakening and things and just transformation more than I ever have. I've been at this for this specific niche for almost 20 years. So I have been able to bear witness to the language changing and people waking up and getting the concepts. And so it's a really exciting time to be here. And this is such a time as this. This is why I've been intensely healing, and I've been in healing hibernations for many years. What I'm going to share with you about soul therapy, and when I introduce you to the container that I've created for us to do the work, it has taken me decades to collect this information, some professionally, but most of it experientially, in my own journey. And I understand that everybody who goes through a journey isn't meant to teach and show other people. I get that. I am. I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. I've been a minister. I've been a college professor. I've been all the things. So for me, when I talk about collecting the puzzle pieces, that's exactly what I've done. I've collected a piece from here. I've collected a piece from here. I've collected a piece from here. And I can tell you that my mosaic is beautiful. It's coming together so well. And I'm just so excited for you to be on this journey. All right. So are you on a healing or self-love journey? Are you experiencing awakening symptoms, questioning your beliefs? Do you think that there's more to life? Do you struggle with finding joy, being happy? Do you feel like an imposter? Are you faking it till you make it, or just faking it? Are you not where you want to be in life? Do you have a history of trauma, particularly childhood trauma? Do you feel disconnected from God, from source, from universe, from any higher power? Do you feel like you don't belong anywhere, or like your faith has failed you? Do you seem to attract bad luck, people who use and constantly misunderstand you, or do you otherwise feel unseen and unheard? Or maybe, have you been unsuccessful in traditional therapy? Have you tried it and it's just not worked for you? Or have you taken part in multiple programs and courses and masterclasses and all the things without much impact? Have you tried all the things like manifestation, like all-night prayer, like crystals and therapies like DBT, CBT, all the T's, all the behavioral therapies? Have you tried Reiki, however you say it? Have you tried to consecrate and fast in like a religious setting, but still saw little to no progress? Let me tell you something. I've been through all of these things. Each one that I have mentioned, I have personally battled, struggled, fought it out, and overcame each one of those. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I haven't saying that I have necessarily arrived, because I realize that the healing, awakening, that is life. That is living and thriving. And that is what I have accomplished. And that's what I hope to share with you by the time you're done working with me, not just in this video. So if you saw yourself in any of those situations that I said, then it's time to connect to your soul. It's time for you to discover your sovereignty, your personal power, your power that is your birthright, that you came here with, that you were born with. It is time to get connected and linked up to that like never before. So we're at the cusp of another great change. And a memory came up for me, I think on Facebook, and it reminded me that 5 years ago, exactly 5 years ago, I did something called Breakthrough 2020. And that was, again, about healing, about, breaking through to your next level, learning more about yourself, self-discovery, things like that. And when I launched that, it was actually pretty successful. It was one of my more successful challenges or launches that I've done in the past. And I just lost my train of thought. And that's my dog, of course. It's okay, Bubba. Chance, Mommy's trying to do a video. Chance. Just gotta wait till he's done, I guess. Because what I'm not gonna do is start this video. I'm not even gonna. It took me so much to get here. So anyway, now that that distraction has cleared, we just took a moment to breathe, and now I need to remember what I was talking about. Oh, Breakthrough 2020. Oh, and it was right before the big 19. It was right before COVID hit. And there was a lot of things in there. I know it helped me kind of get through. But the main thing is like that was a great change happening, a great transformation happening. When things like this happen in humanity, like there are situations like you just don't ever go back. Like what is normal? Like we haven't gone back. We have learned to grow through and be where we are now. Okay. So when that memory came up, I'm like, wow, I'm on the cusp again of bringing something to the people that I know with every fiber of my being we need. So we are on that cusp again, something different. Like, there's a lot of people feeling a lot of different ways about the elections and the state of the world and things like that. There are people who believe in the age of Aquarius, like just a new age coming in. And when you look throughout history, I'm old enough that I can see patterns throughout history. I don't have to just read it because I lived it. But then you can read more and you can see that while things seem to be so different, they are also still the same. So it's the perfect time to heal. It's the perfect time to not be afraid of your awakening. And it is the perfect time to decondition. People are waking up. They're really realizing that they have been duped, manipulated, bamboozled, swindled by societal conditioning. And I'm not going to get into all of the societal conditioning here. I do that in the curriculum. It's a lot. And you know what I'm talking about. And people are starting to actually mess around and believe that they can actually heal, that they can actually change their reality, that they can actually attain the things that they thought previously that they could only dream about. And guess what? They would be right. They can. So I want to introduce to you Sovereign Soul. Sovereign Soul. That is the container where we do the work. Let me look at my notes because sometimes I can just be talking on and on and on. We talked about soul therapy. Okay. All right. Yep. Oh, I did good, y'all. Okay. So Sovereign Soul is, I think I already said it. It's the container where we actually do the work. And so I want to talk about, what a container is. And before I get to that, I want to talk a little bit about how, I don't think I finished it earlier, but we hear all the messages about how much we need to heal. Like, I'll be on social media and I'll see all the things. Well, you experience A because of B, or if you do this, this is what's wrong with you. We have all of the neurodivergent stuff. That is definitely a new language within the last 20 years. Not that it's not accurate, but the language catching up with the energetic patterns that we're totally unaware of because we're too distracted by what? By societal conditioning. See, I be getting off on tangents. The container. So everybody tells us what's wrong and tells us, the issues. We've been well diagnosed by all the doctors on TikTok and all of that. But how? What do we do? How do we do this? When you say sit in feelings, what the hell does that mean? When you say shadow work, okay, what is that? How do I do it? Where do I start? I don't know. Now, this is a journey that I had to figure out all on my own. And you may be having the same experience because this shit ain't easy. If healing was easy, everybody would be doing it and we'd be already living in bliss. It's not easy. It's hard. It gets easier. Now, my thing is about healing is life is hard either way. If you have that perception that life is hard, it's going to be hard. So whether you put that hard energy in this I got to do this work trying to figure it out, you can do that for the rest of your life over here in this system. But if you want to come over here and you want to put that hard energy into healing, into awakening and waking up, into challenging your belief systems, into connecting to your soul, following your soul, discovering who you are, figuring out what brings you joy, come over here. Let's do that. My point is, either way, you're going to be doing the work. You're going to be doing something. You're going to be putting out some energy. So why not put it over to a place that you can trust and you have faith it's going to pay off for you? Because if you stay over here, you're just going to be on the hamster wheel for your whole life. Okay. So a container is, it is a space where we put intentionally our focus and our energy like into it. And so the best analogy that I can think of with my greedy self is a cookie jar. So you think about a cookie jar. A cookie jar, dang, who has cookie jar? I can't tell you the last time I saw a real cookie jar. Now I need to go to the Goodwill and find me a cookie jar. That's going to, see what that just bubbled up as I'm talking to you. So I'm going to follow my soul and I'll be at the Goodwill within the next couple of days. And a cookie jar is going to jump out because that's what happens. So anyway, the cookie jar. Now what's in the cookies? The cookie jar is a container for cookies. What's in the cookies? What's in the jar is what I meant to say. A cookie jar is a container for cookies. So you expect the cookies to be in the, so when you want a cookie, you go to the cookie jar and you get 2, 3, 4, 10, 12 cookies. But that container holds cookies. Okay. So sovereign soul is the container where we do the soul therapy work. Okay. And this is not for everybody and everybody isn't going to be up in here, but if it's for you, you're going to know by the time this video is over. So sovereign soul is my baby. It's my life work. It's an intensive 6 to 12 months, self-paced healing, awakening, and deconditioning curriculum. And it is intentionally designed by moi for those who are ready to claim their personal power. That's essentially what sovereign is. That's what it means to be sovereign, is you recognize your personal power and you're like, oh, this is mine. Well, let me use it, right? Okay. So it's for those who are ready to claim their personal power, heal and release trauma. I know if you're tired of hearing about trauma, I get it. I understand. There just have been several important concepts over the span of our lifetime that have just been so pimped out and turned out into something that it's not, but that's very intentional. Hear me. It's intentional because if you're tired of hearing about it, you're going to dismiss it. You're going to be like, you're going to dismiss it. It's not valid. You're like, whatever. Oh, I'm tired of hearing about trauma. So that's why it's intentional. But hear me when I say healing from trauma is one of the reasons you're even here, right? You can't, life has thrown trauma at us, just by life. But particularly if you have childhood trauma, or if you have experienced another form of trauma, it's not just childhood, but in adults, trauma in terms of it made such an impact that it has changed the trajectory of your life. There was an experience that you had where your nervous system did the best it could to protect you from that experience, but that leaves imprints. The imprints are about your perspectives, your beliefs about the world around you. It has everything to do with the sense of trust, which most of us have an issue with. Issues of being able to connect to our faith, just how we see the world, how we perceive the world. Trauma is a really real thing. And so in Sovereign Soul, we actually heal and release the trauma that is stored in our cells. Okay. This Sovereign Soul is for those who are really ready to connect to God, source, universe, their higher power, whatever that is for you, in a more meaningful way, in a way like in just a tangible way. Y'all don't understand how hard it is for me to just try to stay on topic because it's just so much I want to share. And when you connect to your God, to your source, to the universe, to your higher power, when you connect to that, you get to tap in to the core that entails the blueprint of who you really are. Now, this may seem woo-woo, it may seem lofty, and guess what? It is. It's damn magic. Okay? So Sovereign Soul, yeah, it's intensive, it's self-paced. All right, so it's self-paced because, let me check the time and make sure I can get all the information to you. It's self-paced because everybody has a different pace, right? So I wanted to avoid the unnecessary pressure of being like, here's everything in 3 months. First of all, it's so unrealistic. There's so much work to be done. I mean, and this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning to get you set up to where you live the rest of your life in this vein. You know, that's why it's called the soul therapy life. It's actually a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. You're going to be doing this for the rest of your life. It's going to feel harder in the beginning, and then it's going to be like butter because you're going to flow. Okay. And it's going to take time. Now, if you are someone who's like, I don't have all that time, who the hell got all that time then you can happily stay where you are. But if you want something different, you got to do something different, right? I had to get very radical, and hopefully you guys probably won't have to get as radical as I did, which is some of us, that's just our path. That was my path to get radical. I have not worked since 2018. The last time I worked, I was a dual diagnosis therapist in a partial hospitalization program for people who dealt with mental health disorders and drug and alcohol issues at the same time. So I was doing that, and I was teaching forensic psychology at a university in DC. So I was doing those things in 2018 when my life came crashing down. When actually that was right after. I was still doing it because after my life crashed down, I didn't get it. I'll tell you about the crash in Sovereign Soul, or maybe on social media, but whew, I had to go through that. So I haven't worked. I am estranged from all my family. I literally have no friends, and my husband is my best friend, so I guess I can't really say that. And you see, I say all that as I'm smiling because I'm missing nothing. I'm missing nothing. I am so full of love. I have so much love flooding me that it has healed my ability to see, feel, and receive that love itself has helped me heal from the wounds of my childhood where I wasn't able to receive that love, where I wasn't able to get that love, right? I cannot wait to tell you more about that process. So hopefully you guys won't have to do all of that, but you will have to create space. You will want to put your best foot forward, just like you do on your job. Anything you've done, if you've gone through higher education, if you've accomplished or achieved anything in your life, you had to work for it. And it's the same. It is the same over here. So what you put into your healing is exactly what you get out of it. All right, I think I beat that enough. All right. So, what I'm going to do for the rest of our time together, all right, maybe about 40 minutes left or so. We'll see. I hope you guys are doing okay. But what I want to break down in a little bit more detail what the Sovereign Soul curriculum entails. And I want to focus on this limited time that we have. I want to give you an overview of the 5 aspects of self and a little bit about our energy centers. I want to tell you exactly how you can access the curriculum, which of course I'll do at the end. And really what sets Sovereign Soul apart from all of the similar programs, courses, and all of that stuff. What makes this different? I want to share that with you from my perspective. And I want to give you a little bit about how I work. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video. I want you to get a feel for me. I want you to you're gonna know if what I'm saying resonates, but energy is important. So either you're gonna feel me or you're not. And that's a very, 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 very important part of when you choose somebody to walk alongside you at certain points of your journey. All right. And of course, I already said this, but I'll say it again. I'm going to give you actual resources and strategies that you can apply today. You can apply it immediately, and you can begin to move the needle in a way that you can feel. Okay. So it sounds like it's lofty promises, lofty goals, but you know what? If we ain't reaching for the stars, then what are we doing? What are we doing? All right. Let's see. All right. Oh, wow. I'm doing a little bit better than I thought I was. Okay. So let me switch to what I really want to, I want to get into the meat and potatoes. So I'm going to talk to you about, so sovereign soul. It has been really difficult to try to find a framework or a way to communicate all of these. There's a lot of esoteric, there's a lot of abstract, there's a lot of like metaphors like there are in the Bible. And in some of this feels like it can be a little confusing. And since we are limited by like language, getting that across can feel a little difficult sometimes, but I'm dedicated to showing up and doing my best. And I hope you are too. So the first thing I'm going to talk about are the 5 aspects of, no, before I talk about the 5 aspects of self, I want to talk about healing, awakening, and deconditioning. I talked about it a little bit, but what is healing? What is healing? In Sovereign Soul, that's one of the very first things we dig into. What is it? Because you need to be able to define it for yourself. What is healing for me may or may not be healing for you, okay? And so all of the voices that are out here saying, this is how you know you're healed, this is how you know you're healed, only you can really figure that out. And to do that, you have to jump into your healing process. So for me, and I'm going to share this with you, if it fits for you, feel free to take it. If only parts of it do, then cool, tweak it. That's what I'm going to be encouraging you to do throughout this entire thing. Thing meaning Sovereign Soul, not necessarily this limited video. But so for me, healing meant that I would experience freedom from the inner turmoil that I was in. And I feel my emotions rising up even now, because for me to do this work, I actually have to tap into myself. And I didn't realize that when I was doing this work all for all these years, but I have to tap into myself. So it's a very real, I'm taking myself in Sovereign Soul. I'm taking myself through the system in real time. So you gonna see me cry. But that inner turmoil was so painful. So painful. It's like I couldn't access who I really was. All I knew was to be what other people wanted me to be what I perceived other people wanted me to be. I didn't want to be so angry. I didn't want to be so confused. I didn't want to feel so stuck. I was tired of feeling like I was unseen, unheard. Nobody cared about me. Everybody just always wanted to hurt me. And some of that were very real experiences. Others of it were my perception of said experiences. So for me, healing is the freedom from the torment. And so that's as specific as I was able to get. And let me break it down even simpler. I just didn't want to feel like how I was feeling no more. That's how I knew. One of the things I knew that when I got to, if there's another side of this, because I didn't know when I started, If there's another side of this healing thing, I want that. I want to be able to look back and be like, I used to feel this and I don't anymore. And I think I gave you the example of the love, like the love. So what does healing mean to you? You're going to need to tease that out, read definitions, see what other people say. But at the end of the day, you get to decide what it means for you. So that's one of the actual resources that I want to offer you, is to begin to think about what healing means to you. And you can reverse engineer this thing. How will I know I'm healed? How will I know? I'm going to do a series on that too. How will I know that I'm healed? And you get to come up with that. Okay. So that's what healing is. And I used to tell the story of the scar. Now the way I'm sitting, I can't show you. Oh, I wonder if I can show you anything on my arm. Probably not. Anyway, I have little scars on me. We all do, from childhood or whatever. Actually, I have a lot of recent scars from cooking and baking. I'm always burnt somewhere on this arm. That's why I actually have, goodness gracious, I actually have a couple, but they're so hard to see because they've healed. Like there's one, I don't know. Can you see this one right here? Like you can barely see it, okay? That thing, it's funny, I'm actually going to put this up on one of my social medias. That thing was so bubbled up and ugly and nasty when I burnt myself. So in getting back to healing, like this is healing. So when it first happened, it was so painful. It hurt so bad. It was bubbled up. It had all that juice in there. And I couldn't like move it, touch it. And it was ugly. So I could see it every time I saw it, even if it didn't hurt. It reminded me that it was there. Hope you're catching this. But then I took care of it, of course. I put some, what did I do? Oh, I think I put ketchup on it first because it actually helps for a burn. And then, I washed it off and I tried to keep it covered. And then I also needed to give it air because, we need that balance for healing. And so now, this is probably about maybe 6 months ago. Now you can hardly see it. You can hardly see it. Now, if you saw me sit here and search for it, like I had to search for it, that's healing. There's always going to probably be something there that you can focus on if you want to, right? But it's healed. It doesn't hurt. It's not ugly. That's the best way I know to convey what healing is. Okay. Awakening. Now, awakening is, you either sleep or awake. Awakening is the coming to of realizations that things may not be quite what you thought they were. In an awakening, your beliefs are challenged. And many of us run from this because some of us have beliefs that are so deeply ingrained, even though we may not know where they come from, but we have these beliefs that are so deeply ingrained that like us being separated from them or it changing feels like a death. Like it conjures up so much fear. And that's why everybody doesn't go through the awakening process. Because it's like, oh, like if you would have told me when I was heavy being a minister, an ordained minister, and I was a church girl, I was Christian, that I would ever come out of that it wasn't true. Matter of fact, I think some people tried to tell me it was true then, and I was ready to fight. I was like, what you mean? Right? So awakening, that's what this is. We're questioning our beliefs. And it's not just religion, but religion, if you are religious, is a very big part of it. Belief system, spiritual, it's all these terms. I'm none of these terms. There's not a term that can describe what I am. I'm not, I know I don't identify as a Christian. Although I do believe in the entity of Jesus, just not in the way that they told us. Damn, I don't want to get too, I actually have a 4-part series about it, but I don't want to get too detailed about it. I'm trying to convey that awakening is about challenging your perceptions, your beliefs of this life and how you want to live it and how you want to show up in it. Do I want to tell the ham story? I'm going to tell the ham story. I used to tell this when I used to teach sociology. So, and since we're in the holiday season, that's the time of the year that I'm recording this right now, so there were 4 generations of course, the story is going to be women. 4 generations of women who were preparing their holiday meal. And so you have the granddaughter, the daughter, the mother, and the grandmother. Okay. So you have 4 generations. So the granddaughter asked her mom, Mom, why do we cut off the ends of the ham before we put it in the pan and into the oven? And the mom was like, well, my mom's always done it. It's just the way that we've always done it. Why don't you go ask grandma? So the little girl goes and she asks grandma, why do we cut off the ends of the ham before we put it in the pan in the oven? And then the grandma goes, it's just what we've always done. My mom did it. Go ask Nana. So the little girl goes ask Nana, why do we cut off the ends of the ham before we put it in the pan and into the oven? And Nana looks at her daughter, looks at her granddaughter, looks at her great-granddaughter, then goes, well, I don't know why they do it, but I did it because my pan was too small. I crack myself up every time I tell that story. Because for me, it's like, all these years, we've been wasting all this ham. We've been cutting all this ham and we didn't know. The story is funny, but it's so very real about how we come to believe what we believe, how our belief systems are created. They're oftentimes passed down and Nana's pan was too small for the ham. But by the time the daughter was cooking, she could have all the size pans that she wants, but she still only did what she saw her parent do, and she didn't know why. Part of awakening is understanding why you believe what you believe too, and making that connection. That's what creates integrity within you, integrity in your system. And it's also what helps you to heal and transform and move on. So that was the little ham story. Wasn't sure I was going to tell that or not. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Okay, awakening. And so now my computer went off. Oh, well, I probably don't need it. And lastly, deconditioning. Not lastly, but the third part of the 3 things that I wanted to talk about was the deconditioning part. Now, the deconditioning is the process of learning, unlearning, relearning what you need for your life. So when we talk about societal conditioning, things like the American dream, being, married with 2 kids, a dog, and a white picket fence. I'm sure that it's kind of changed in some variation, but it's still that overall idea of what it means to have or to be a successful person, and at least in the country that I'm in America, is these things are part of what's required. So then what starts to happen, well, all the little girls and little boys feel like they need to be married, and everybody feels like they have to have children, or they feel like all of these things, all of this is societal conditioning. Someone somewhere said, this is the way you need to do it. And if you don't do it like this, you're strange as shit. So that's what we want to undo. Now, if you come out and you do your work and you're like, well, I do want to be married and I do want to have 2 kids, and I actually like the white picket fence. It makes me feel good. It makes my perimeter is sealed. Like, this is my area. It's a visual boundary. I love this. And you know what? I like dogs too, and I want dogs. Like, if you come out and that is fantastic, great. As long as you've done the work. And so what you'll find is that a lot of us, when we do this work, we're like, you know what? I don't think I ever wanted them damn kids. Like, I don't want any kids. Or you get to decide. I believe higher education is going to get me to where I want to be, or I don't. But you get to decide. So societal conditioning are the conditions where you feel forced, where you feel pressured, where you feel, and you can always feel when it's not congruent with you, because you're like it's hard for you. Ask anybody who's ever been forced to go to college, who has failed and flunked out, because that is just not their thing. So that's deconditioning. So just from healing, awakening, and deconditioning, just from those three things that are a part of Sovereign Soul, we can spend so much time deconstructing those. And these, again, right now, we're just talking about the ideas of them. We're not even talking about a lot of the how-tos, okay? All right. This feels so good, y'all. Thank you for being here with me. All right, so now I want to talk about the 5 aspects of self. Okay. So again, trying to come up with a framework of how, because we learn in a linear way. So you get this piece of information, you get this piece of information, you get this piece of information, you get this piece of information. And somewhere along the line, the pieces kind of line up, and then this piece of information is connected to this piece of information. And then you do that. But you have to get the information, which we do as humans, in a linear way through language. And so I think I said something like that already. So just bear with me in trying to convey these concepts to you. So the 5 aspects of self, and when I talk about the 5 aspects of self, these are part of all of us. All of us have these 5 aspects, and our job in this life is to manage and balance and find homeostasis among these 5 aspects of self. That is the work, that is life. Okay, so the first aspect of self is our mind. Our mind. Actually, let me give you all 5. Our mind, body, soul, spirit, and our energy. These are our 5 aspects of self. Mind, body, soul, spirit, energy. Fivefold ministry. I think about that every time. It's the fivefold ministry. Okay, so our mind contains things. It has to do with like our intellect, our reasoning, our thoughts, although our thoughts are connected to other aspects of ourselves. None of these things that I'm going to talk about that I've categorized under an aspect of self exist independently. They can flow through the other aspects of self. But again, for our process of learning and understanding these things, we try to compartmentalize them a little bit more. So your mind is about your intellect, your reasoning, your thoughts, your perception, your comprehension, and your beliefs. And your mind is where the ego resides. Your ego is just yourself. Your ego is who you need to be in this 3D world, in this current reality. Your ego is your personality. It is kind of who you be in the world. And the ego is not a bad thing. We're not going to kill and slay the ego up in Sovereign Soul. We're not going to do that. But we are going to learn to co-create with her and work with her, because our egos, they mess shit up. What can you say? Like, it gets in the way. But once we connect to our soul, even the ego has its place. So we're not gonna, but we do need to understand it. Okay. So the tip that I want to give you, remember, going back to those actual tangible things, and these are the things that you probably want to be taking notes about. I probably have already given like 3 or 4 of them. So I hope you were able to catch it. But when it comes to the aspect of self that is the mind, you can start right here, right now, by simply observing your thoughts. Simply observe your thoughts. Like, when you observe something, there's no input. There's no like communication with that thing. There's no judgment as good, bad, right, wrong, any of that. You are simply observing, and in your observing state, you're gathering information. So way back in the early 90s, when I was in college, I studied human development. Human development and family studies with a focus on early childhood. I used to think I was just the bomb. I was just the bomb in that. And I thought it meant so much. And it's funny because I learned that it didn't mean so much. And here I am now actually pulling from it so that I can relate to you and talk to you. So everything is interesting. Human development. I had to do a course where the entire semester was about participant observation. You are a participant observer. So the participation part of that was that I was supposed to take what I observed, collect the data, and then find patterns. Okay? So when we're doing this, in terms of connecting to the aspect of yourself that is your mind, you can start here by observing your thoughts. You just want to observe. You're collecting data so that later, when we come back around to it, we can observe some patterns. And then when you can observe a pattern, you can interrupt that pattern. And then you can rewire it into a new pattern. That's how we change our thoughts. That's how we rewire our thoughts. Well, one way. Okay? So the second aspect of self is our body. All it is. It is your physical body, your human suit. Okay? Your body is important. It's just important in so many ways. The aspect of self. We're used to the body aspect of ourselves, if we're honest, because in the way that we're concerned about the outward appearance of this thing, what we look, hair and nails and makeup and clothes. And it's all about impression management. And it's all about, what am I putting forward? How do I want people to perceive me? Right. So we're no stranger to the aspect of self in terms of the body self. Right. But that's not what we talk about in Sovereign Soul. I don't care if you wear wigs or don't wear wigs. I don't care if you're bald, if you have a beard. I don't care what that is, because that's just the fun stuff that you get to play with after you do the work, right? But so many of us are so focused on putting this on, we never get to the work. We never get to the work. So the body aspect of self that we talk about in Sovereign Soul, it's about our nervous system aspect of the body, right? Our emotions are held in our body. Disease, the vitality and energy or lack thereof is contained in our body. Our body, we talked about the container earlier when I was describing to you what Sovereign Soul was. Remember the cookie jar? Your body is your container for earth, right? So your body contains your nervous system, all of your organs, your tissues, your muscles, your cells, all of these things. And we only know a real little bit about the body, but we act like we know everything. But we only know a little bit about the body. But we need to manage this aspect of ourself in a different way than we're used to. It's more about what you eat, what you wear, and what you put on. What you eat is very, very important, and we'll break that down a little bit more. So how do you begin to connect with and manage your body aspect of yourself? That's kind of easy. Move. You gotta move, move, exercise, whatever you want to call it. You have to move. An antidote here. I was so resistant to any form of exercise and movement, especially I think when I was probably in my it started around my mid 30s and well into my 40s. Like now when I was in my 20s, I was all up in the gym. Now, partially because the guys was up in the gym. So I had an external motivation to go to the gym, but then I never really liked the gym. I wasn't a gym rat. That's the only reason I went for the most part. And then when people would be like, you need to exercise, you need to do this. It's like, I want to fight. Shut up. Shut up. I don't want to exercise. I don't want to move. There was so much resistance built up in my nervous system from a lifetime up to that point, 35 to 40 years of just being in this world, living in this world, eating all the government cheese and stuff because we were raised on what we put into our bodies, what we're conditioned to believe. Disease starts to set in because I have all this unhealed trauma. Now I'm developing all of these diagnoses. I've had diagnoses that I've never heard of before. Like And I talk about that in more detail, not great detail, in more detail in Sovereign Soul as I connect the information for you. So the body, the body has so much conditioning around it. It's ridiculous. And once you start to do this work and you realize, well, they said to do this, but this actually works better for me. And you take your power back in that way, life-changing, life-changing. I've healed physical things inside of me from doing this work. So so moving is a simple way. And you don't have to go to the gym. If you love going to the gym, go. Great. Make it a priority. Don't say I don't have time. If it makes you feel good and you enjoy it, my husband goes to the gym 3 times a week, faithfully. Like, it's just part of his thing. He loves the way it makes him feel, and he's a gym person. You can go for walks. You can stretch, honey. There is nothing like a good stretch, let me tell ya. I'm still working on my yoga, but the good stretch is good. You dance, put on some music and just dance. Get it. Move. Just move. That's the simplest way we can start. Okay. I'm doing good on time. All right. The third aspect of self, our soul. Now, the next 3 categories I'm going to talk about, soul, spirit, and energy, they are intertwined in many ways, but I'm going to try to break them down because sometimes people use them synonymously, and sometimes we can use them synonymously depending on what we're talking about. But I want to try to create a little bit of space between each one of these to give us more of an understanding of how we manage these aspects of self. So everything is soul. Soul, if I had a favorite, it would be the soul, soul therapy, sovereign soul. There's a theme here. I'm all about soul. So your soul is the extension of source, of God. Okay. That's what we mean when you hear people say it's your birthright. It's because it's inherent in you, because you are actually a piece of source. You are actually a part of God. Okay. This is the divine part. Your soul is the divine part of yourself. Okay. This is the divinity within. Your soul contains the life force. And not just the life force needed for this human experience, but the force of life in the soul that exists beyond this reality. That kind of like, where do we go when we die? Where were we before we came here? Though that kind of thinking. Okay. Your soul contains all the answers you ever need for this life. Real talk. I know it sounds like bullshit, but it is true. Your soul contains that. Your soul has this knowing. You ever just know something? You have no idea why you know it. It's just this knowing, whether it's a knowing to stay away from danger or it's a knowing to go towards a thing more in love, right? It's this knowing that's part of your soul. Your soul is part of your non-physical self. Now, the spirit and energy is also non-physical, but your soul is your non-part of yourself that is a piece of divinity. Your soul is the anchor. It is the bridge to all of the other aspects of self. It like your soul encompasses everything else, right? So you are going to learn how important your soul is messing around with me. Okay. So your soul aspect of yourself, it's so important. And when I began to break out, and when I knew that traditional talk therapy wasn't going to be enough for me after my paralyzing panic attack in 2018, I knew I needed something more. I knew I needed something deeper. I couldn't find it. I didn't know what it was. And that's what Sovereign Soul is. That's what soul therapy is. I figured I had to figure it out. And I started with my soul. I started with my soul because it was so deep. And I knew I was so deeply wounded that I started there. And all these other aspects kind of came in after that. But it's going to be different for everybody. That's the 5 aspects of self. Maybe somebody is really struggling with a disease in their body. So that's what brings them to this work. Somebody has been diagnosed with a mental health illness, whatever the politically correct term is now. But it's a very real thing. And 9 times out of 10, there's nothing ill about it. You just aren't vibing with what's going on here. So maybe that's what brings you to this work. And so a piece that you can start right now, remember, you get out your notebook. We already did mind, body. And so for the soul, how you want to tap into your soul, how you want to begin to, you don't manage your soul. You connect to your soul so you can co-create. You manage the things of your mind and your body and your energy and your spirit. We'll get to that in a second. But your soul, there's nothing to be managed. You have to connect to it and just allow her to speak to you, right? So you can do that. You can meditate. You can journal. You can meditate. You can do something that brings you just great joy. Now, when I say meditate, you don't have to be in like little yogi, crisscross applesauce type thing, even though I actually like that position. Makes me feel powerful, but you don't have to do that. You can go for a meditation walk. All meditation is focusing your mind or not focusing on anything at all, just kind of being. The whole point about meditation is about being present, being. So you want to try to feel yourself. You want to feel your soul. So something else you can do is just express gratitude. Write as much down for gratitude as you can. That's going to help you tap into your soul. If you have kids, oh my goodness, just spend some time with them. Like seriously, I know you feel like they may be getting on your nerves, but I'm telling you, when they get to be old, like mine are, like you're going to miss those times. And so children, before they get tainted by this world, they are very, they're just very in touch and in tune, and we can follow their lead in a lot of ways. Play with your kids, just color, just be. Being present is the best way that you can connect to your soul. Okay. So spirit. Okay. Now spirit. Now that you hear a lot about spirit and soul being interchanged a lot. And it took me a minute to try to figure out, well, what do I believe about the spirit and soul? And more importantly, how do I communicate that to you? So the spirit aspect of self, it is kind of like, it's like almost like a twin to the soul, but they're also different. And so our spirit is how we connect to God. It is kind of like, it's like the lifeline of connecting to our God, source, universe, higher self, your ancestors, whatever that is for you, it's how you express your faith, your connection between yourself as a human to your eternal source. And you can call that whatever you want. But that's what spirit is. Your spirit contains your faith. Spirit has everything to do with trust, your beliefs. It's how we kind of translate our soul. So your soul has all the answers, right? But it's because it is God like implanted in you. The free will and all of that stuff. All will is your ability to make decisions that are in your highest good. If something is in your highest good, it's going to be in the highest good of others. And some people struggle with that. But it's what it is. So your ability to make decisions, not make decisions based on what somebody else tells you to do, not what you think you should do so you could get what you want because you're so connected to the outcome, but truly being able to make those experiences. That's why the soul is, one definition of the soul is that it contains your mind, will, and emotions. And there's a lot of truth to that. And so the will part is your ability to make those decisions. Oh, I dipped back into the soul. Over to the spirit is how we translate it. And that's why it's so close to the soul. I think the Bible says something about the spirit and the soul. It's like it's hard to separate it. And it gives the analogy of the bone and marrow. And if you know anything about bone and marrow, it's like it's hard to separate them, but bone is actually different than marrow. But they kind of mesh like this in our actual physical body. So how you translate your soul, how you communicate with your source, how you tap into and draw that energy, that life force energy into you is very, very important. I have an acronym for faith that I want to share with you, and it is freedom and insight through healing. that is such a spiritual practice. So healing is spiritual. Healing is getting closer to God. It is getting closer to source. So is awakening. All these things we've been talking about is the journey. It's about getting to that. So spirit is a very important aspect of our self. Okay. So how do you tap into the spirit side of yourself? Now, I think you heard me say a moment ago that when it comes to soul, spirit, and energy, no, energy you can manage for the most part. But your soul and spirit, you're not looking to necessarily manage them. You are looking for homeostasis, right? Because you can't always stay in that state because you're here and you're a human. So you have to know that balance of that time. Like, when do I tap into my soul and just rest with my soul? When do I tap into my spirit because I need some kind of connection? Spirit is going to be so important. The spirit aspect of yourself is how you co-regulate and you actually begin to heal your nervous system. So you can journal. It's similar to the soul, actually, in terms of how you can connect to it. But if I want to separate it out a little bit, I want to be more on the faith side. So if you attend church or synagogue or anything where a group of people who believe similar things gather, you can do that and focus on being present, like being there. When the worship music is playing, allow the vibrations of the music to just speak to your spirit in that moment. Don't worry about, is the pastor looking at me? Let me make sure that I'm just making sure that I'm in the posture. Excuse me. Or if like so-and-so is looking at you, I got to make sure that I'm, I appear more holy than them. Yeah, we play these games in church, right? Be present. Be present and tap into your spirit. Worship at home if that's what you do. Let me take it out of, because we're so used to connecting spirit with church. Let me go for a walk in nature. Hug a tree. Hug a tree. Hug a tree. Ooh, man, nature has some of the best experiences. Being able to connect to the spirit aspect of yourself. It's beautiful. Are you a beach person? Go to the beach. Watch the sunrise. It's like connecting to the spirit aspect of yourself is like noticing God everywhere. Noticing source, and when you tap into like source, God created earth. Earth sustains you. And so get out in nature. That's how you do that. If you don't know, I know everybody ain't out in nature. People don't like to be hot. They don't like to be cold. You can find something. There's something you can appreciate. Do you like flowers? Maybe flowers that, oh my goodness, for my ballers. People who, being outside and playing basketball. I don't know. Do y'all still do that? Do people do that? Or are we always inside now? Get outside. Get outside. Get outside. Outside is going to be great for your soul. Actually, everything, your mind, body, soul, spirit, and energy, but particularly your soul, your spirit, and your energy. That leads me to energy. The last bit of information I want to share with you. The last aspect of self that we're going to cover today is in regards to energy. My mind just went somewhere else. Energy, okay? Energy is a real thing. Everything is energy. And so what do we mean by that? Like everything is energy. Like this glass is just, it's energy that is condensed to such a degree that we have this now. And so it now is real and tangible for us to have. And so when we talk about energy and how everything is energy and we are energy, you got to take it back to the atoms, the matter, cells, DNA, all of that stuff. It's energy. Energy has a frequency. It has a vibration. Everything is energy. You listening to me right now is because of energy. I'm looking at my recording device. It's my phone. And the phone and all of the even the crystals that are in the phone. Like, this is energy. You can hear me. You can't see the words. Well, maybe you can. There's a condition for that. But you can hear me. You can understand me. We are nowhere near each other. There's no one here with me right now. Like, but it's energy. And when you listen, you're either going to feel me or you're not, right? But everything is energy. We are energetic beings. We have energy systems in our body. They are often referred to as the chakra systems. Chakra. I'll probably say it both ways. But our chakra system. And that is a great framework for understanding more about the energetic aspect of ourself. Okay. You may have heard things about like the law of attraction and things like that. It can be a buzzword for some, and other people are like, oh God, I'm tired of that too. Does not change the truth of it. You know, there are 12 universal laws. I cannot tell them to you off the top of my head right now, but I can tell you, you know, the law of attraction is, you know, we attract who we are. And it's not about, oh, I think I'm this, and so I want that. No, it is a state of being. And you have to do the work to get to that state of being. So then you can be like, well, let me just manifest this thing in real quick. let me understand this a little bit more. You know, and then of course, manifestation is a whole thing, and it's very real, but I'm not going to bog down our time together by these concepts that have names that may cause you a challenge in grasping their reality. So this part of soul, of sovereign soul and soul therapy in general, we focus a lot on the chakra systems and understanding our energetic blueprint, being able to manage our energy. So let me tell you this, how you know, like, energy is just real. We are, in fact, energy. Have you ever like been somewhere and the hairs on the back of your neck stood up? That's energy. That is energy. That is your actual nervous system picking up signals from your environment and trying to communicate to you. Or not trying, communicating to you. Emotions are energy in motion. You gonna tell me that's not right? That's not real? Like, love. What is love? Like, how do you know love? You can't see it, touch it, taste it. Everything is energy. And so we dig into in Sovereign Soul, there is a whole, actually Chakra Soul is it's a whole separate curriculum itself, and it's part of Sovereign Soul. Okay. Our energy, our aura, we have an energy field around us. And I have learned to manage that field because I'm very, you know, you've heard of empaths. Yes, I'm a highly sensitive person. I am an empath. And I am very much in tune with, I've had to learn how to be in tune with my aura and understand my own personal energy system and what I give to people and what I don't. Because I've gone through life just all willy-nilly. People are around me and they feel better and they're not even conscious to it. But that has caused a lot of people in my life to just kind of latch on to me, get what they need, they feel better, and then they go. There was no like reciprocal, I need some stuff too, but they're not able to be there for me in that way. And I had to really learn about that. So our aura, love is the greatest energy that we have. I've already said about frequency. Okay, so here's how I want you to tune into the energetic aspect of yourself. This is that note-taking part. I want you to do a body scan. Okay, so what a body scan is, so you're going to be using, somebody's out here. Hopefully you guys can't hear that too much. They're always out here doing some work. Like, it's December. What are we, why are we got blowers? Like, why are we still, the leaves have all fallen. Why are we still cutting grass? All right, I'm okay. It's absolutely beautiful, so I'll take it. Okay, a body scan, you're going to be using, you're going to visualize, right? Use your imagination. The mind aspect of yourself, she's a genius because you can visualize and you can use your imagination to do a lot of the work. Okay, so body scan is you are going to bring your attention to like maybe the top of your head. You're going to bring your awareness and your attention to the top of your head, and you're going to be like, all right, can you feel anything? Just bring it there. Can I feel it? And you're going to slowly move down. Okay, my forehead. What's going on? Is there anything going on in my forehead? Like my eyes are closed, but I can feel the energy of me moving my hand in front of my forehead. Like I can feel it. I can't see it because my eyes are closed, but I can feel it. I take it away. It feels like it's further. I bring it closer. It's so close. You can feel it, but it's not touching. Okay. And then you do that and you just come all the way down your body, your ears, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your elbows, your little pinky nail. Like I felt that. Like scan your whole body. You can take as long or as little as you want with this, but you want to scan your body and you want to kind of just feel it. So just kind of sit back, close your eyes for a second. We're going to do this in real time. Allow your arms to drop to the side of your body. Your palms can be facing towards the back of your body, or they can be facing towards the front of your body, however you want. And I want you to just draw your attention and awareness to your hands, inside the cup of your hands. Now, remember, they're just hanging there. They're just hanging to the side. Mine are actually facing forward. Draw your awareness and your attention to your hands and just sit there for a minute, and you will begin to feel a tingle. You could be feeling tingles. You could be actually feeling like you can feel the air, like maybe your hands feel a little bit heavier. Maybe they feel lighter. Maybe you don't feel anything and you need to move on to another section. That's okay. But I feel it. I'd be really interested to know. That's why I like to work with people in real time too, because I want to know if y'all feel it. Okay. So you're going to do that. And that is like, I can feel it. Like that's energy. You do this. And it either goes away or it intensifies. Okay. So that's just a really quick thing you can do a body scan. If that's too much for you, if it's just too much, and it can be for some people, then another way you can tap into energy is through frequencies. So you can even go to YouTube. I'm actually going to put up a playlist of some of my most favorite frequencies. I've been using frequencies probably for, a couple years now, as part of my puzzle piece of the mosaic of my best life. And I love it. Just play around a little bit and feel. Like, don't just willy-nilly pick something. Listen, everything out there ain't good, but you should be able to feel. If it doesn't feel good to you, like some tones, I wasn't ready for the higher pitch tones, so I could not listen to those in the beginning. I could only listen to the lower pitched tones. And a lot of times that has to do with ascension symptoms and awakening. And it has everything to do with our chakra system. So the lower tones are like our lower chakras, our root and sacral and solar plexus. And the higher ones tend to be more of the crown and the third eye and things like that. But listen to a couple frequencies, music. And if you don't want to do frequencies, then listen to music. But spoiler alert, music is just frequencies and vibration. The point is for you to get to a place where you can just kind of let go and you can feel the energy around you. And once you can start to feel energy and believe that energy is a thing for you, then you can now move in to understanding that aspect of yourself and how it flows with the other four aspects of yourself. It's also one of my favorite, everything's my favorite, but it's one of my favorite things to teach when we really get into the chakra system. And there's a lot of details and it's all healing. It's still awakening. It's still deconditioning, and everything is dancing together. Ooh. Let me just look through my notes before I wrap this up. I think I'm not going to go into more detail about the energy centers because I feel like the more, if I talk more, it may be a little more confusing, but just know that we nail this down in Sovereign Soul. So, all right, let me pick this up. I think my computer turned off because I was talking so much. So let me turn it back on, if she'll turn on for me, because then I just want to tell you, I told you all that. I get so full of energy and I get so excited. So I'm gonna just bring it back in. So how can you access Sovereign Soul? We've covered a lot. Yeah, we've done a lot. Some people have told me that, like, when you do these things, Dawn, it's so much. You give so much information and good. I mean, I do. I definitely probably over deliver, but I don't want to do so at the sake of confusion, you know. But we're all different. I never really know. All right, let me. No, I did do it right. All right. So I say all this, we've gone over a lot. I've talked about the 5 aspects of self. I've talked about healing, awakening, and deconditioning. I've told you what soul therapy actually is and how I've created this very special container for us to do the work. So Sovereign Soul is going to be released. Okay. Sovereign Soul is going to be released on the 21st of this month, December 21st. It's a very special day. It is the winter solstice. And it's also, wait, is it? I don't know. I got to look and see what the moon cycle is, but it's winter solstice. And so winter time is a time to fall back, rest, get what you need. You can think about bears in hibernation. You can think about what you even feel like when it's cold outside. You know, you probably want a nice warm mug or something. Maybe you want your little fuzzy socks on, your favorite blanket. I love fire, so there's always a fire going. And so when you think about it, it's very restorative. It's supposed to be very restful. We are conditioned to skip the season of winter in all, not just in reality winter, like just, you know, just go inside and wait till it gets nicer out, but the seasons of our life where we are supposed to fall back, we are supposed to rest, we are supposed to recharge, we are supposed to be doing this. It's a perfect time to start doing the work. Winter time is about 3 months. Can you imagine how far you would be in 3 months? Springtime comes and, you know, you've dealt with some things and you can actually start to see the needle move. You're only going to get more excited to finish out, right? And so we start on the 21st, and I am building this out in real time. You've heard me say that. So I'm showing up and I'm actually recording the videos. You're going to get a video for each module. Honestly, I have lost sight of how many modules I am up to now. I'm not even gonna try. It's at least 25 modules at this point, and each module has lessons within it. So you're gonna have video introducing a concept much similar to this video. So this is kind of my style. This is what I do. I will have soul sheets for you to complete to help you do the work more, because the work is not going to be in you watching the videos. The work is going to be in what you do in between the videos, what you do with the information that you get during your own personal time. That's why it's a self-led journey. It's not just about showing up. It's not about passing tests like we understand. It's about integrating and learning how to embody the concepts into your daily life. So, we'll have the videos. We will be meeting every week in a group setting. That's so important to me. I believe in group work so much. I did my master's thesis on support group therapy and its effectiveness. And so I'm really a group person. I understand that that's not everybody's forte. And that's okay. You can show up to these groups and just get what you need to get. Sometimes you can come and you don't even ever have to say anything. You can show up to the groups, which will be online. You'll be most likely Zoom, but I may do it directly through my website, but you'll have all that information well in advance. And we show up. You can, decide, well, I need some more direction. So maybe you'll be the one. I think other people call it like a hot seat. I don't like that term. We're just doing it. It's a soul therapy circle, and we'll be together. If you need help, then we'll get on and we'll work together. And everybody else who has joined, only the people that are part of Sovereign Soul can join this. Then they'll be the only ones to be able to see. But if you've ever been in a group environment and you've ever seen somebody who's gotten something and you're like, wait a minute, I think that was for me too. So healing, so healing. So our weekly group, I'm pouring my heart and soul into Sovereign Soul, heart and soul into Sovereign Soul. I really am. And so we'll be doing that every week. So if anything else, if you've just watched this video, you have been given a handful of nuggets and things. If you don't do anything else, if you don't ever sign up for Sovereign Soul or whatever, you have some nuggets that you can apply. Remember, we talked about the body scan, the nature, the walking, the movement, observing your thoughts. You can start to get to know the 5 aspects of yourself as far as healing, awakening, and deconditioning goes right now. You can start that today. And I feel really good about that. And if you are called to join me in Sovereign Soul, I will be glad to have you. You can sign up at my website, soultherapylife.com. Everything will be right there. You pay there. You get more information there. Just go there. And as always, I am also here. You can reach out, ask me any questions. I think I still have on my website the option. I'll leave it there for a little bit. The option for if you have any questions about joining the curriculum, that you want to talk with me about first before you do, I'm going to leave that up there probably until around launch time. So we can actually get on phone. We can spend 15, 20 minutes or so, and we can just talk about what you need and, if this is the right thing for you, if you're on the fence. But for those of you who know, welcome. I'm going to see you up in there, and I cannot wait to do the Soul Therapy Life with you. Talk to you later.